Come on into the room, be coachable, teachable, trainable, post your city and state where you are catching this information from on today. So should you choose to do so, I'm Brand Master Martina Britt Yelverton. And today on today's Setup Sunday, we're going to discuss how to get your assets in order and go from stuck and struggling to gaining impact and influence inside of your own zhuzh. I'm also going to discuss with you guys the $10,000 mistake that I made here in my branding realm with regards to how I have been able to sustain 20 years in this business, a little bit of my back history and all of that. Definitely going to let you guys know what I'm currently listening to, which is Sleigh Ride by TLC. You guys know I love my music, but I'm also going to make sure that you guys understand who I am now connected with and how you too can get connected with these individuals as well, so that you too do not make the same $10,000 mistake that I actually made in business. And so what I want to do is take an opportunity to get one other screen pulled up here on my end so I can make sure that I am taking the opportunity to share all of these bells and whistles, tips, tricks, strategies, and all that good information with you guys. On today, I want to make sure that all of my systems are up, on, and popping, and that I can see everything that I need to see from my end. We are a little early today. Yep, there we go. And so good. That one is up and on and popping, and all of my systems are firing off. So by the time we end on today's information, and yes, we're about 30 minutes early today because I have a 7 o'clock power property masterclass to get to, and I didn't want to shorten any of the value that I am actually going to deliver to you on today. Welcome into room, Apple user. Don't know who you are. Welcome into the room. Love you. Welcome to all of you that are following on multiple platforms. I am streaming on 4 platforms at the current moment. And so I want to make sure that I do take the opportunity to say, hey, y'all, hey, to each and every one of you. What's going on? Lisa Moritz, come on into the room. I want to make sure that I take the opportunity to let you guys know, number one, we're listening to Sleigh Ride TLC. Number 2, we're streaming on 4 platforms. And if I happen to take an opportunity today to actually screen share, those of you here on my new favorite platform, TikTok, may not be able to see the screens. Those of you on these other 3 platforms, you will be able to see the screen. But I want to make sure that you take away, or that you sit back and listen, or that you plug in where you fit in, and that you do take away from this the information that I'm going to talk about with regards to branding, how to get your assets in order before you start branding, the wisdom and the experience that you have, what that means as your competitive edge, as well as understand that you are not building a hobby, that you are actually building a legacy when you take a look at who you are and what you bring to the table. What do I mean by who you are and what you bring to the table? Most of the people who come into my brand new agency, they come into the agency wanting to know how to level up their experience, right? They come into my industry trying to figure out what to do with what it is they currently have. They've been on the job 10, 20, 30 years, some of them. Hey there, Alexa. They've been on the job 10, 20, 30 years, right? And they're trying to figure out how exactly, let me correct that, Alexander, okay? They come into, the brand new agency, and they're trying to figure out, what in the world do I do with all of this value that I have? How do I use it on social media? How do I set up a brand for it? How do I get my assets in order? They come into this industry wanting to know all of that. And I enjoy taking the opportunity, helping them understand. Thank you for that. Helping them understand how they can go ahead and get it done. You're awesome as well. And so what I'm trying to do is take the opportunity across all of my platforms to ensure that you all realize what it is that I did wrong, okay, and trying to help you avoid some of the things that I have done. So as I say before, on my platforms, come into the room, be coachable, teachable, trainable, right? And go ahead and represent where you're actually streaming from so I can know where my information is actually reaching out in these internet streets, okay? And please let me know if my music is too loud and you can't hear me. However, that's my zhuzh. That's what I like to have on and popping when I get on these lives each and every Sunday, to try and just give you a behind the scene looks as a Gen X or a boomer, right? Helping you guys get a behind the scenes look at the things that I've done wrong so that I can help you guys possibly do it right. And so if you're watching on the platforms and I can't see who you are, leave a comment, drop a comment, say where you're chiming in from so I can greet you and say, hey, y'all, hey, okay, and all of that good gear. So I'm not sure what that is. What is that came up on the screen? What is that? I don't know what that is that came up on the screen. But guys, definitely drop where you're chiming in from, because I enjoy going back and checking and seeing where you guys are actually chiming in from. So right now I do know that we have Raleigh, North Carolina in the house. Good deal. So good to see you. And I understand, that the information that I'm sharing on tonight is definitely for my impact, for my increase to deliver it, but it's also to help you guys avoid as much of the rigmarole that I literally have gone through, so that you guys don't have to go through that. And so, as I said on tonight, before you leave tonight, I want to make sure that you're understanding those key things with regards to your value, your vision, and your voice. But I also want to make sure that you know who these collaborations that I have now partnered with for the major come up in 2026, so that you can connect with them as well. Okay. And so, giving you a little bit of back history about me. Again, my name is Brand Master Martina Britt Yelverton, and I am a cash flow queen, and I am the founder and visionary behind Family First Designs, a brand new agency. Okay. We have multiple things that we offer inside of that agency, but most specifically, and what we focused on first and foremost is helping you to get your assets in order. And what do I mean by that? Helping you get your assets in order means if you are out here in these internet streets, in these TikTok streets, in any of these social media platform streets, right? And you are trying to do something with your life, my prayer and my hope, Baku, my hope and my prayer is that you get it done in some sense of an organized fashion, right? To help save you time. What assets specifically am I referring to? So let's start with your name as your number one asset, your name. Do you currently own your name? What do I mean by do you own your name? Well, I'm so glad you asked. Okay. Now, somewhere in your mind, you did ask. Okay. What I mean by own your name is, who knew that the internet was going to do what it has done? Who knew that the internet was going to be what it is currently now? Who knew? None of us really knew and had a clue that the internet was going to be what it is today. And so in order for you to be able to leverage the internet, the best thing that you can do is leverage who you are on the internet, leverage who you are in these internet streets, leverage who you are on these social media platforms. How do you actually get found or find someone else on the internet? You typically type in their name. So bottom line is, you should own your name. Did everybody see how I connected those dots? If you saw how I connected the dots, then say dots in the chat so that I'll know that you got that. Because again, the first thing that you need to understand about these internet, online and offline streets is that people are going to introduce themselves or introduce others by their name. So the first thing that you need to do is actually own your name. In a brand, out of a brand, in a business, outside of a business, if you work in a job, all the way across boards, if you have your kids, own your kids' names. Own your name, because again, who knew what the internet was going to do? Once you own your name, now you are actually in control of what happens with the data that is associated with your name. Okay. You're looking at that piece, that asset, okay, that you have access to. Once you own it, you are in control of that. You can decide what gets uploaded. You can decide what gets found. You can decide what is connected to that name. That is your number one asset, right? In regards to what we're talking about when I'm telling you to get your assets in order. You should own your name. How do you own your name? Duh. What's the thing? I'm so glad you asked. Okay. I'm so glad you asked, because there are things out here called domains. All right. So I'm populating a link up on my other platforms. If you guys need it, of course, you can definitely go there as well as domains.martinabrityelverton, my name.com, so that you can see this is a place where you can purchase your name, right? And you can own your name. You actually go to a domain provider, any domain provider, so should you choose to do that. However, if you choose to purchase from my domain provider, you get me. What does that mean? You get me. You get my value. You get my knowledge about that process, what it means to purchase it. How do you use it? Where do you place the content, the data anything that's associated with it. How do you use any of that? Once you purchase and you own that domain, you control the data, the content, and all of that, the redirects and everything that go with that domain, right? And you are now able to determine what people understand, see, get, use, all of that with regards to your name purchased through a domain. I hope that makes sense. So when we're talking about your value and we're talking about you putting your value out on that particular platform, your domain, you are actually able to determine, control, and put out what it is that is your value. So sometimes when I say that, people are like, well, I don't have a business, or I don't have a brand, or I'm not sure what type of information I would even put out there. The number one thing that you need to understand about that is if you're currently working a job, these jobs now Google you. They look you up. They're trying to figure things out. They're trying to know who you are. So if you are in control of what they find, like your resume, your social media profiles, all of these different things, any type of content, videos, reels, shorts, stories, all of that, any type of information that you actually put on that domain, that's what they will find. That has nothing to do with a business. Yes or yes. That has nothing to do with the business. So just because you now own that number one, that very first asset, which is your name, you're able to control what is seen. And I apologize. That sounded like that might have just been the Jackson 5 that was playing. I didn't get an opportunity to say that, but now we're listening to Sharon Jones and the Dap Kings. Wow. Ain't no chimney in this. I don't know what the full name of that is. But anyway, once you actually control that domain, you're in charge of all the information, the content, and the media that you put on that domain. And now you're able to actually control what is seen by an employer. That's a job, right? That's a career. That is your professional aspirations. That is your journey. All of that is associated with a job, not a business. So before you say, I don't need a brand, I don't need, to hear branding information because I don't have a business, understand that a brand far exceeds a business. A brand is about you, your promise. Now, if you've never understood or never heard me go through the 5 W's of branding, if you look at any of my platforms, I have repeatedly shared information about the importance of the 5 W's of branding. It is simplistically you. Whether you're there, present, or whether you're not there, you're absent, your brand still exists. Why does it still exist? Because it actually resides in the mind of the individual who encounters it. Whatever promise you put out there, whatever content, whatever print media, whatever you've put out there, that the individuals encounter is your brand. So it's past the logo. It is past any domains. It's past any print media. It's past any social media, okay? It's what they think about your entire zhuzh, as I call it, your entire existence, as I call it. Your brand is in their mind and what they think, how they refer you, or in some cases don't refer you, okay? Your accuracy or your inaccuracy, your longevity or your newness, all of that is a part of your brand. So understand, a brand exceeds a business. It exceeds an idea. It exceeds any product, service, niche, or any of that. All right. So hoping you understand that lands with you and you understand why I'm saying that is your number one asset. Now, if you have I hate to say it, negative, a bad, a not yet developed, a not yet aware, you are not conscious, or you are not woke, as they say here lately, then honestly, that is a part of your brand because you just don't know yet, right? You have not been exposed to the value of something yet. That is still a part of your brand. And so when we're talking about when you're first starting out on this road to getting your assets in order, I'm generally talking to people about how to get started right so that you don't have to figure things out, right? So if this information makes sense to you, then definitely share this out with someone else because they may not know. They may be thinking, their value, they don't know what that is. They may be thinking their time on the job, their experience, any of those things, they may be just not getting it, right? Share this information out with them so they can understand what they don't know, because what you don't know is costing you. What you don't know is hurting you, right? So definitely share this out with them so that they can come into the room, and all of you out there in the TT Street that's out there watching this information from the lobby, step on around the corner and come on in to the room with us and get this information, because this is beyond you trying to establish a business. This is you thinking about you as an individual and what your brand or the idea of your brand is in the mind of someone else, right? Definitely come on in, share this out so other people can get this information as well. We're here each and every Sunday, typically at 6 o'clock, but we had to get started a little bit early tonight because I'm jumping on a property power masterclass at 7 p.m. And I did not want to miss the opportunity to come and set a spell with some of you on tonight. And something, as you see, I keep something still is bugging me right here. I'm trying to pay attention. I'm trying to focus. But thank you guys coming into the room. As I say, be coachable, teachable, trainable, and gather this information. So that's the first thing that I need for you guys to understand about your value and why it's important that you get your assets in order by owning your name, the first asset that we're talking about. The second thing on the first level of your value is understanding mindset. And we were segueing somewhat into mindset, but before we do that, let's definitely take attendance and see who we have in the room. Just another day. Thank you for actually joining, sitting and staying and checking out the things that I'm discussing on today. Welcome, Troy Bell. Welcome, Miss Sanders. Let me pull up Miss Sanders' bio just in case you guys don't have any idea who this powerhouse is. Brand new to TikTok, been on here for just a little bit of time, but is burning up the ranks. She currently has 6,300 followers. She's an educator, author, financial strategist. She fixes money problems. She fixes money problems. I don't know how else to say that. She's a part of the GQ agency. I believe they're called agency staff. If I'm saying that incorrectly, let me know. She teaches cash classes on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 6:30 p.m., but she also does pop-ups. So pretty much if you're following her, if you have checked in, and you have done your homework for today, which is to definitely grab your daily heart meat, to also go ahead and share this live to someone who needs this information. And then when you check into the room, to definitely follow someone who is aligned with what it is that you find value and importance in, so that whenever they are live or whenever their content is distributed, you get an alert so that you now are able to glean from their value as well. So I appreciate you taking that pause with me to check into the room. So I was discussing how to move from the value of owning your name, now moving into the value of your mindset. So, and the reason I put that next is because people are born with a name. It's easy to explain to people how simple it is to take the first step to avoiding a $10,000 mistake that I made, was to actually go out there and own your name, right? So once you own your name, once you actually get access to the education that comes behind owning your name, now there is some, it's not education that I want to call it. There's some training, there's some clarity, there's some understanding, there's some homework that you need to do for yourself with regards to mindset, right? You actually want to come into a space where you can actually get up under the tutelage or the clarity or training or education of someone who can help you grow your mindset, help you understand why it's so important for you to own your name, why it's so important for you to know what it is that you know, and why it's so important for you to share it with others, right? Because if you don't know, the importance of that, you won't know why you should put it out. Hey, back, so good to see you. You won't understand, or you won't know why it's important for you to put that information out there, for you to share it with others, right? Because you want to be sharing it from good soil, from, your own goodness, right? You want to be sharing it from your own value proposition, as they say, for what it is that you understand about it, but also why you are sharing it out with other people. Because when they come into contact with you, energy is real, right? So if you have a jacked up mindset, okay, if you have a jacked up way that you are doing things, when they come into your space, It could be screaming chaos. It could be screaming confusion. It could be screaming hypocrisy, so you want to make sure that you're cleaning all of that good space up so that when people come in contact with you, they want to stay in contact with you. They don't mind referring your information out. They don't mind sharing you, your platform, your product, your niche or service with other people because they know it's good soil. They know that it comes from a good place. They know it's impactful, right? So when you're looking at yourself, your value as the number 2 thing in your asset, you want to think about your mindset, your coaching, who you're associated with. How does that look to you? How does that look to others? And be able to share it earnestly, right? Being able to give that information out to others. Again, to make sure that you are all aligned. It's simpatico, as they say, right? You want to make sure that that is a part of, what you're doing. And so I appreciate, that because again, J-Save, it's S-E-V, SEV, right? It has saved me over the time for making greater than a $10,000 mistake, right? So understand that it's about you, but it's about beyond you, right? It's about you, but it's about beyond you. And so I hope that makes sense to you guys. I hope that that information is received well, because if you don't know your foundation, if you don't know from where you come from, your value, what it is you're here to give, to share, to impact others with, right? If you don't go through the process of growing your mindset, learning more, doing more. Hey there, Tina. Doing more, growing yourself, increasing your own value, your own education. Then when it's time for you to hook up and partner with someone else so that you can do collaborative deals or things like that, you're going to be out of alignment. You're not going to be able to make it stick. You're not going to be able to make it stay. You probably won't be able to sustain it because others may not see what you want them to see. They may be seeing what's actually there. I hope that makes sense. Okay. So you want to make sure that you're growing, that you're increasing your own value as well, so that when others do come to partner with you, there is a value for them. There's some type of, like I say, reciprocity in the collaboration, so that you have just as much to win and lose with as, or more, than they have to win or lose with. Okay. So owning your name, making sure you're understanding your value, growing your mindset, increasing your own value, the things that you're going to be giving and sharing out to others, as well as making sure you're partnering with the right people. All of this is a process of the first level that I'm talking about, which is value. Okay. Because you can't get out here and partner with people and they ain't got a clue what they got going on. It's a very difficult, yes. All right. For lack of a better word, it's a very difficult yes to be able to do that. So you want to make sure that you're taking the opportunity to do that. All right. Does that make sense to everybody? And thank you so much for all the hearts and the tapping. I appreciate it. Thank you, Miss Sanders, for doing that for me. You know me, I appreciate it. I always don't understand what it does, but I understand it does push us out to the FYP. I'm understanding a lot. Hey, RRSD. That's probably a bot. Are you real? RRSDDD. Are you real? Because I don't understand how we would want to know what it is that you do, who you are, and all of that good, if we don't know exactly what that is, right? So, are you real? I'll say that again. Are you real? All right. What's going on, Shirley Bryan? So I understand that the taps do bring people, that sharing brings people. I've learned that over the time of working with Heather, R in the HR office, and all of the good that she has shared with me. I'm not sure about like quoting the taps in the comments or any of that. And we'll figure all that out, right? But again, I enjoyed that. Thank you for that. And I appreciate that. That's one of the reasons why, even though I do still stream to the other platforms, I'm really learning a lot from Heather in HR on nightly 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Again, because this platform here on TikTok, I didn't have a clue, didn't understand it, been on it for a while, thought it was about dancing, right? And again, that could be a part of the $10,000 mistake that I made, because years ago we could have probably actually monetized this platform and done so much more, okay, than we've been able to do with it. However, if you are on the other platforms, I would definitely appreciate it if you could tap in, let me know where you're chiming in from. And if you are not yet on this platform, take an opportunity to come over to TikTok and join us, because again, okay, when I say the engagement is real, the engagement is real. The communities that are being built over here is real. The fact that you can engage in real time on a live, as well as even on posts that go up at other times, it's really amazing to watch the way that my TikTok platform has actually grown compared to other platforms that I've been on for quite some time. So while I appreciate you guys tapping in over here, watching live from these other platforms, definitely take an opportunity to come and join us here. Hey, Laura Ann, Steve, so good to see you. So again, moving into the last part of this value part of this ladder, because I don't want you guys to miss just how important the value is when you have other options that we have right now in this AI, automations, all of that driven world. You have to be able to pay attention to the value that it offers, right? Who knew TikTok would be what would be what it is now, right? Who knew that owning your name on the internet would be what it is now? Who knew that taking the opportunity to connect with other people, to create a profile, to actually go live and speak to people live, giving them their value, your value, and helping to impact them would be what it is now? Okay, you don't know. So if you take the opportunity to spend a little bit of your valuable time coming over to a platform and actually getting under the tutelage of someone who actually teaches you TikTok's tips, strategies, and all of that, then you will be able to understand the value that is in this asset. So social media and the value that is in social media as the third part of what we're talking about here, and how to leverage social media positively is another aspect of understanding an asset that you have and your value with it. Okay. Being able to come on and share information live, being able to tap the screen to let the algo know that you are interested in the content that is being delivered, reposting the information out, sharing the information out. All of these things are things that you learn. Hey there, Madison, things that you learn when you come into contact, get connected with, and utilize this asset, for your come up, for your best benefit as a value platform. Once again, these are the different things that you learn about the assets that you have once you understand the value that they possess. Prayerfully, that makes sense to you guys. And so when you do that, you want to come into this platform, you want to understand the platform, right? And you want to utilize the platform again for your best advantage. Okay. So again, I appreciate you guys who come in, who actually set a spell, who pay attention, who listen to this information, who actually engage in the comments. And I see several comments in here. Those are mostly from Ms. Sanders. Thank you for that. And then we have people who are dropping in and out. Ask your questions, set a spell. Let me know what you want to know about the branding realm, about the branding industry, how to get your assets in order. Ask those questions, because I definitely would love to answer those for you. Right? The most important question that people ask a lot of the time is, why do I need a brand? Or what is a brand? Why is a brand so important? Right? And again, it is because it is the idea, the promise, the product, the niche, the service, whatever you want to call it, that resides in another individual's mind about you, your product, your service, your niche, your name, your social media, your business cards, your brochures, your card magnets, your banners. All of that is a part of your brand. But the bottom line is, you want your brand accurate in your absence. You want your brand, when it is referred, right, to be referred accurately. You want the promise to be delivered upon. All of these different things are what are valuable about getting your assets in order and getting that information shared out. All right. And so to my Gen X and to my boomers, most times what happens on this level with the value deals a lot with You just don't know how to pivot or how to shift from your current position as a W-2 worker. You may have been on the job 10, 20, 30 years, and you're just not sure how to pivot. Well, the pivot is you've been on the job 10, 20, 30 years, right? You have experience, you have wisdom, you have a way that you've done things. In this era, you sustain that particular position for 10, 20, 30 years, or even if you've gone through multiple positions over the 10, 20, 30 years, right? The industry itself, you've been able to sustain over that period. Someone else has not. And so all you need to be is one step ahead. I say this all the time, to be able to help someone else. That would be the position from which you would actually educate, coach, train, and help someone else. So I hope that makes sense to you guys. I hope you understand that your value is not comparative to anyone else's value. Your value is your value. Your value is from your proposition. Your value is whatever is for you. So there we go with that. Again, I hope that makes 100% sense to you, that you can understand why that's important and why that is the first step. Understanding your value, owning your name, figuring out what asset that you actually provide, meaning whether you're providing it on social media, whether you're providing it physically in person, understanding what value you provide and having the right mindset around it so that you can do what? You can actually have the ability to leverage, to partner, to collaborate with someone else so that when your information is shared, it is accurate, it is valuable, it is needed, it's reciprocal with the other individual that you're partnering with. Hope that makes sense for you guys. So again, we can do a small attendance of who's in the room. You are a brand spanking new user, RK. User number, you don't have an image, you don't have a bio yet, you're following a few people. So you're just getting started getting this done the right way, but are you real? That's the question you have to ask here on TikTok, guys. Are you real? Because we do have a lot of bots. Are you real? Let's go. And so that's the information that I have literally here for tonight on that first level of your value, making sure that you understand. You did hear me mention that I wanted to talk more about some of the collaborative people and partners that we're partnered with. And that's going to deal with the other two levels. So right now we're on pretty much week one of this information. I know I am going to cover on week 2 vision, on week 3 voice, and on week 4 we're going to prepare for the setup for 2026 because there are a lot of things happening here in this current realm. There are a lot of things happening, and the reason we're a little early tonight, the reason we got started at 5:30 tonight is because I'm actually in a 2-hour property power masterclass on tonight. And I didn't want to miss the opportunity to come in and to actually, hey there, DJ Candy's World, come in and talk with you guys for a little bit of time before I prepare for that. It gets started at 7 o'clock. So I want to make sure I wrap up everything that you needed. I come on, I make sure I'm available to answer any branding questions or any questions about the $10,000 mistake that we made with regards to branding and how we're actually fixing it. And honestly, why it's called a $10,000 mistake. We can actually get those questions answered as well. So again, the first tier of what we're talking about this particular week deals with the value. And the value is in owning your name. The value is it's understanding yourself and your value as the asset. The value level is understanding, owning your name, your domain name. The value is understanding your mindset so that when others are looking to come and partner with you, they know what it is that you're about. They know who you are. They know when, where, and why you're doing what it is that you're doing so they can understand whether or not they're aligned with you. The value is understanding all of this while owning your name, while putting the information out there, and you don't even have to have a business yet. Why do I say that? Because whether you have a business or not, you still have a brand. So that is the reason why we're focusing this week, this first week as we close out the year of 2025, this month is understanding your own value, making sure your mindset is right. Hey there, Dwight. Hey there, Jerry. Understanding all of these different things are on and popping and right. And for the Gen X and the Boomer, you have decades of wisdom. You have decades of value. And we want to make sure that you take the opportunity to understand it first, right? Then possibly position it correctly so that when you're sharing that information out with others, that they understand clearly who it is that you are, why it is that you're doing what it you're doing, should they be aligned with you, all of that consistently, right? They want to make sure that you understand all that. So as you begin to move forward in the next step of setting up your vision with your business structure and leveraging AI and moving into your next level, which may deal with, amplifying your voice, becoming a speaker, or putting your information out throughout multiple social media channels and training and education and strategy and tip and courses and all of those things. When you're putting that information out, when you're actually being affiliated with, or you're affiliating yourself with someone else, that it all is simpatico, that it makes sense. What's going on, Michael? That it make sense, right? We want to make sure that all those ducks, hey Lexi, that all of those ducks are in order. We want to make sure that all of that is foundationally sound so that when you partner with someone else, they don't have to worry about problems. They don't have to worry about your structure being off. They don't have to worry about hypocrisy, and they feel valid and they feel strong in promoting you as a person that they are affiliated or partnered with, right? But if you don't know your own value, if you don't have a vision yet set up for any reason, you're on social media or not on social media, you have a brand or don't have a brand, because you always have a brand. You always have a brand. Hey there, LaShawn. Again, this is the reason that you want to go through the opportunity of making sure you understand first your value, owning your name, getting your mindset right, and then begin to make sure things are structured properly, because you don't want to be the weakest link. You don't want to be the kink or the break in the chain. You don't want to be the one that causes the cookie to crumble, right? So that's the reason why you want to put your mask on first, make sure you're inhaling fresh air, and make sure that you're, pulling yourself together and moving forward with the stamina to be able to move forward with. And if your business structure isn't right, you don't yet understand branding, you don't have any earthly idea what your value is, you're not even sure about how to pivot from that W-2 into a business or out into the speaking realm, or just out here on social media at all, right? Then those are the things that you want to get in order. And I invite you to come deeper into the room, okay? Deeper into the conversation. Ask your questions anytime. Ask your questions so that we can get you off and running and on the right foot. I hope that makes sense to you guys, right? So we wanted to keep tonight light, but also give you the structure for the way that this is going to move forward, right? We're going to talk about each and every first point of contact. We're going to talk about the value. We're going to talk about owning your name. We're going to talk about where you can go to get what you need to get to own your name, right? We're going to talk about the mindset that you need to develop, where you need to plug in at, who you need to be plugged in with, right? So that you can make sure all of your formations, your structures, your everything is set up properly. So as you begin to seek collaborations, when they're looking at your alignment, your platform to see if you're aligned with them, then it's an easier yes. They can make an informed decision because you know your value. You've been able to market and discuss and put your value out there properly for them to know, yes, this is a good individual for me to connect myself to. This is a good individual for me to, jump into partnership with. They understand what it is they're trying to do. I kind of like them. I like what they're saying. I can follow their vision. I can pay attention to it. It makes sense to them. You want to be able to make sure that you are aligned properly. That's why we focus first on the value. And that is the best way to start getting your assets in order and avoid thousands and thousands of dollars in mistakes. I hope that makes sense to each and every one of you. And again, if you have questions, type those in the chat. I'll definitely be more than excited to answer those. But again, the first weekend, the first Sunday of each and every month, we will be discussing value and why it's important. Thank you so much for that, Candy. DJ Candy is sharing out the live. It's happening, giving us some love as well. I really appreciate it. Sharing out the live, reposting us, and all that. Check you out, sis. Thank you so much for that. Again, isn't that dope that you can actually see that in real time on a platform like this? Again, understanding another one of your assets and how to use it properly. She is obviously a dope individual out here in these TT streets and understands how to leverage the platform. Again, an asset that you need to make sure that you get in order. So again, when someone like a DJ Candy comes into your realm, right, comes into your world and is openly sharing your information out, she's not just doing that out of the kindness of her heart. She understands that I am a person of value, that other people need to hear this information, that other people could take value in this information, that other people can take this information and do something with it and increase themselves. They can get some training, they can get some clarity, they can get some understanding. But if you haven't taken the opportunity to understand your own value, when other people come into contact with you, they won't understand it either. And they won't know why they should share you out. They won't know why they should partner with you and collab with you. They won't know what it is that you have that they could offer their community. Please tell me if you could drop the word value in the comments if that makes sense to you, because now you understand why value is so important, why your value is so important, why the value of certain assets like social media is so important. I truly hope that makes sense to you guys. So again, for the first week, each and every Sunday, we come to this live, we will be discussing value. In the second week, we'll be discussing vision. In the third week, we'll be discussing your voice. And in the final week, we will tie it all together, right? And we will actually put together a strategy, a plan of action, some sense of activity for you to move forward and how you can begin to market your value, your vision, and your voice. Each and every first, second, third, and putting it together on the fourth Sunday of each and every month. And then I think I have to look at the calendar for 2026 to confirm how many fifth Sundays we have, because right off the top of my gut, it says that we're going to probably entertain guest speaking. We'll see. We will see. Hey there, Free Brooklyn. We will see how that works out. Thank you for coming on into the room. Hey there, Kevin. So good to see you. You actually caught me almost closing this out. Why? Because we actually are only doing our hour. We started at 5:30 today. And the reason we started at 5:30 is because I have a power of property masterclass to get on directly at 7 o'clock. And I did not want to miss giving this information out on today. So I'm glad you were able to come in. Did you bring any questions with you today? So that's one of the things I asked everybody. When you start coming to these Sunday sessions with me, bring your questions, because I want to be able to help you guys leave with something actionable to do. So hopefully you had an opportunity to think over this week and think if you have any branding or business questions, if you have any speaker questions, if you have any Gen X or Boomer questions with regards to this AI tech world that we're living in, drop your questions and I will be more than excited to answer them. Hey, I am being Nicole. Added something extra to your name, girl. Welcome into today's stream. I appreciate it. So if you have any questions about branding, about business structure, about mindset, if you have any questions about AI, the AI that you currently use or you would like to use, if you have any questions about any of those, and definitely begin to drop those while I take attendance. I am being Nicole is fairly new. I can't say new or not new. She currently is following 166 people. She has over 2,000 followers. She helps the Gen X women turn their pain and life lessons into $50,000 businesses, right? And legacies. That is absolutely beautiful. I'm so excited to see that. Just looking at that, she has a very professional profile picture, that she has a bio, that she is following. She has a great following. I would love to partner with her to get alerts to learn more. So that is the way that you would actually take attendance inside of your TikTok communities. You would bring the people that are sticking and staying and that are engaging with the chat into your live by doing what? Calling them out. Over 5,000 followers, DJ Candy's World is Candy's Conversations on Sundays at 8 p.m., Wednesdays at 9 p.m., DJ Candy Nights with MC Keys. I don't know how I messed that up, at 10 p.m. And also is available on other platforms, much like myself. As I told you guys, again, when you're having people that you don't mind shouting out, when you're having people that you don't mind being aligned with, that you don't mind collaborating with because you understand their platform, guys, don't miss Sunday nights, 8 p.m. tonight. If you don't miss anything else, don't miss their karaoke nights. I don't remember when the karaoke night is, DJ Candy. I want to say it's Wednesday, or is that what the DJ Candy nights with? Is that the karaoke, right? And then they do have one other night that they come on live. I want to say it's Thursday, if I'm not mistaken. Hey, Simply KB. They have nights that they come on, they come together as a community, they help each other out, but then they have other community nights where they go in and they have a good time, right? You don't want to miss the opportunity to leverage this platform for a community like that. Like, don't miss that this is not just about social media. There's a monetization option here. There's a way to collaborate with different people here. There's a way to come on and have a good time here. It's not just about dancing, which is how this platform, I believe, first came to be. So understand there are other reasons that you would want to come into these social media platforms and learn from people, collaborate with people, okay? That RRS and DDD is back. I asked before, are you real? Like, are you real? Again, because I wouldn't want to bring you to the platform and expose as a bot. So you got to say something in the chat. Are you real? Okay. So again, guys, that is one of the ways that you want to look at making sure you're utilizing the asset of a platform like TikTok to actually elevate, to grow, to expand, right? To actually increase your mindset, because you can find some really good people here that actually are trying to help people, again, elevate their mindset. On this platform, you can find other people and communities that you could become aligned with, that you all could affiliate with each other and play off of each other to leverage each other for monetization. There are so many different assets that you could consider here on TikTok. So just don't think this is a platform specifically just for dancing. It is so much more. Okay. So literally, that is what I had for you guys tonight. We are going to get ready to wrap up. There wasn't a lot for us to cover as this of our first week here getting this information out in the value mindset. And again, if you're on this platform and you're not following me on other platforms, take the opportunity to do that. I'm on FB, LINYT, as well as TTIG. And did I miss anybody? Did I miss anybody? I'm pretty much on all platforms, and I do encourage people to at least get a presence on all of your platforms. You may have one that you focus on, like I focus on TikTok, but you may have another that you put long form content, like I do over on YT. That's more of the education and the training, where we get on here, we share a couple of things, we have a good Q&A discussion, and then we move off of here. So again, develop a strategy behind your value so that once it's shared out, other people can gravitate to it at their time of need, get what they need, and then of course either they can share you or not share you, or they can join you or not join you, but at least they understand what your platform is. And again, if there are no questions and all hearts and minds are clear, we're gonna wrap this baby up, right? Because again, we're getting ready for our power property masterclass at 7 p.m. And we will look forward to seeing you guys at some point on Tuesday, but again on next Sunday. Next Sunday, 6 p.m., we will be referring to the vision, and we will be talking about our collaborative partner, Mac Enterprise, and how to leverage automation and AI, and how we've been able to do so much of the pre-planning that's coming in the year of 2026 for the Gen X and the Boomer, who may be a slight bit scared of how things happen or how to use AI inside of your business. We're going to talk with that. We're going to talk about that within our 2-second week platform for vision. So that's all I have for you guys on today. I look forward to each and every one of you joining us next Sunday. Thank you for your time on tonight. I appreciate it. And here's a tip I learned. Before you close out your lives, you go back to your goal and you thank people for the amazing job they did assisting you so that you can customize and showcase that you met your goal. Yay! Goal achieved. Good deal. Thank you so much for your time on tonight. I greatly appreciate it. I'll catch you guys next Sunday. It's dope.